Okay, so hey guys and welcome back to another Sport This Week video, and in today's video I've got baseball, tennis, rugby, ice hockey, NFL, football, UFC, boxing, Moto GP, cricket, maybe some other sports, I can't remember. If you are new here though and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need that video, and let's get straight into it. So, starting off this week, I'm going to start off with the baseball news. So, Astros won 4-0 versus Rays, Dodgers won 5-2 versus Diamondbacks, Dodgers won 6-3 versus Diamondbacks, Red Sox won 5-3 versus Reds, Astros won 5-0 versus Rays, Yankees won 9-8 versus Pirates, Dodgers lost 5-2 versus Diamondbacks, Red Sox lost 5-1 versus Reds, Astros won 5-2 versus Rays, Yankees won 14-2 versus Pirates, Dodgers lost 6-1 versus Diamondbacks, Astros lost 2-0 versus Orioles, Yankees won 5-4 versus Red Sox, Dodgers won 3-2 versus Diamondbacks, Astros lost 6-0 versus Orioles, Yankees won 5-4 versus Red Sox, Dodgers lost 11-0 versus Cardinals, Yankees won 7-5 versus Red Sox, Astros won 11-10 versus Orioles, Dodgers won 6-2 versus Cardinals, Astros won 6-3 versus Orioles, and Dodgers won 4-1 versus Cardinals. And yeah, that is all the baseball news. Moving on to the tennis news now, where it was the Korean Open, where Raducanu won 2-0 versus Uchijima, and it was also the Pan Pacific Open, where Badoza lost 2-0 versus Zheng. Raducanu won 2-0 versus Wick Meyer, and it was also the Marseille Open, where Medvedev lost 2-1 versus Wawrinka. Raducanu won 2-0 versus Linette. It was also the Laver Cup, where Tsitsipas won 2-0 versus Schwartzman. Federer and Nadal lost 2-1 versus Sokva and Tiafoe. Djokovic won 2-0 versus Tiafoe. Djokovic and Berrettini won 2-0 versus De Minaur and Sok. Samsonova won 2-0 versus Zheng to win the women's singles Pan Pacific Ocean. Alexandrova won 2-0 versus Ostapenko to win the women's singles Korean Open. Djokovic won 2-0 versus Auger-Aliassime. Sonego won 2-0 versus Bublik to win the men's singles Marseille Open. And Tsitsipas lost 2-1 versus Tiafoe. I'm not certain whether or not Federer has retired. It will be in the title and thumbnail if he has. If he hasn't, then it won't be. I'll be doing research right after this. My apologies for not getting the news like it is. But I mean, you'll find out if it's in the title or not anyway. Moving on to the rugby news now. New Zealand won 14-14 versus Australia. South Africa won 38-21 versus Argentina, and St Helens won 24-12 versus Rhinos to win the Super League. So congratulations to St Helens, win it for a fourth time in a row, I believe. Moving on to the ice hockey news now, where it's the start of the pre-season. Bruins lost 2-1 versus Flyers, Maple Leafs lost 4-2 versus Senators, Charlotte has retired, Subban has retired, Sabres has signed Adams to a multi-year deal, and that is all the ice hockey news. Moving on to the NFL news now. Chiefs lost 20-17 versus Colts, Dolphins won 21-19 versus Bills, Patriots lost 31-26 versus Ravens, Rams won 20-12 versus Cardinals, Packers won 14-12 versus Buccaneers, Lance is out for the season, and Hyde placed on the IR. And yeah, that is all the NFL news. Moving on to the football news now. France won 2-0 versus Austria, Croatia won 2-1 versus Denmark, Netherlands won 2-0 versus Poland, Belgium won 2-1 versus Wales, Brazil won 3-0 versus Ghana, Italy won 1-0 versus England, Hungary won 1-0 versus Germany, Argentina won 3-0 versus Honduras, Sidemen won 8-7 versus YouTube All-Stars. I know it's not like a professional proper game, but I just thought I'd add it in there. Switzerland won 2-0 versus Spain, Portugal won 4-0 versus Czech Republic, Arsenal won 4-0 versus Spurs, Everton won 3-0 versus Liverpool, Chelsea won 2-0 versus Man City, Denmark won 2-0 versus France, Croatia won 3-1 versus Austria, Netherlands won 1-0 versus Belgium, and Poland won 1-0 versus Wales. And yeah, that's all the football news. Moving on to the the cricket news now, my apologies. England won 6-0 versus England won by 6 wickets versus Pakistan. Australia won by 4 wickets versus India. Pakistan won by 10 wickets versus England. England won by 63 runs versus Pakistan. India won by 6 wickets versus Australia. Bangladesh won by 7 runs versus UAE. India won by 6 wickets versus Australia. And Pakistan won by 3 runs versus England. And yeah, that is all the cricket news. Moving on to the F1 now. Monaco has been renewed until 2025. There will be a record-breaking 24 races next season. Suwanda is staying with AlphaTauri next season. Latifi will leave Williams at the end of the season. And yeah, that is all the F1 news. Moving on to the boxing news now. Vianello will fight McFarlane on the 28th of October. Dr. Mike versus Avila, and Silv versus Rodriguez will fight on the 29th of October. Cully, Fisher, Aguiarco versus Dobson, Gill versus Martinez, and Taylor versus Carabajal will fight on the 29th of October. Watson, Arthur, Harris, Courtenay versus Rug, Eubank versus Campillo, Romero versus Scotney, Yafai versus Garcia, and Cash versus Koya will fight on the 8th of October. Taraji will fight Kayaguchi on the 1st of November. Stevenson will by unanimous decision versus Konsei Sao, which I did predict right, but it was no longer for the belts because Stevenson didn't make weight, which he now said he's going to move up a weight, which I thought would happen. Samir won by points versus Arrowsmith. Bostan won by TK in round 6 versus Isati. Dixon won by points versus Kiss. Clark won by TK in round 4 versus Karadlitsky. Dakers won by unanimous decision versus Bracamonte. Pattinson won by TK in round 6 versus Luis Seto to become IBO Continental Welterweight Champion. Harper won by a unanimous decision versus Rankin to become IBO and WBA World Super Welterweight Champion. Hughes won by unanimous decision versus Galahad to remain IBO World Lightweight Champion. Fletcher won via KO round 4 versus Visick. Akbar won via points versus Wallace. Thompson won via points versus Thomas. Hennigan won by TK in round 5 versus Douglas Jr. So big congratulations to Hennigan. Been on the channel, and moving on to big things. Heffron won via TK in round 1 versus Bulacio. Chapman won via unanimous decision versus Guanini to become a WBC International Featherweight Champion. Heaney won via technical decision versus Flatley to remain RBO International Middleweight Champion. Serrano won via unanimous decision versus Mahfoud to remain IBF, IBO, WBC and WBO World Featherweight Champion, which I did predict right. I believe I said she would win by a stoppage, which she didn't, but she still managed to get the win. Esselman won by unanimous decision versus Antwi to remain British, Commonwealth and IBF European Welterweight Champion, which I also did predict right. Kakasi won by a split decision versus Magnesi to become IBO World Super Featherweight Champion, which I didn't predict right. Joyce won by KO in round 11 versus Parker to become a WBO Interim World Heavyweight Champion, which I did predict right. So a solid week for me. Warrington will fight Lopez on the 10th of December. Kinkesi versus Mari will fight on the 22nd of October. Bayer versus Gonzalez will fight on the 22nd of October. Tate versus Evans. Hans versus Ogden. Pizzi versus Biggs will fight on the 15th of October. Mayweather won by stoppage in round 2 versus Asakura, which I also did predict right. I believe I did stoppage as well. Wilson Bent won by TK in round 5 versus Thomas, which big things for Wilson Bent, love to see. Mayweather will fight Deji on the 13th of November, and yeah, that is all the boxing news. Moving on to the UFC, there's only one bit, and that is Lewis will fight Spivak on the 19th of November, and then moving on to the final sport, which is Moto GP, where it was the Japan Grand Prix. Binder started 3rd, Zarco started 2nd, and Marquez was on pole, and in the end, Martin came 3rd, Binder came 2nd, and Miller came 1st, with Bagnaia, Rins, Binder, Suda, and Nakashima all not finishing. And yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you didn't, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.